Hi, my name is Dr. Akshay,
Hello.
and we have Kishan today, and he's my colleague and a friend. He's also a neuro-linguistic programming practitioner and a life coach as well. So, we are here to discuss the topic panic attacks. Don't get panicked already. Okay, so with experience with a lot of my clients and a lot of people in general are not aware about what is actually panic attacks, and they have some high intensity of palpitations and few symptoms like that, and they always relate it to some medical diagnosis, and they don't go straight away to the fact that they might be having a panic attack actually. And as my friend here, he has a great experiential journey, and it is very good, and I'm very thankful to him that he has come here today, and to share his story and put his thoughts and lights on what it is about, and how it can help you guys to deal better with panic attacks, and get into more details of it. Up to you.
Yeah, hi. First of all, I am not from the medical background. So, he has a very good medical background. He's a doctor by profession, so he can understand the programmings behind the panic attack. But what I can share is based on my own experience. What I understood about panic attack is it's always in some form of the fear. So, when you're perceiving this world, your perception is pessimistic. So whatever is happening in environment, always something is anyway happening. You're perceiving that things is not gonna good for you, and this one thought can lead to another, then another thought leads to another, and it becomes a bubble. And within this bubbles, you find yourself, very tiny, and the bubble becomes very wide. And all of a sudden, you found yourself trapped into this bubble, and you realize that, oh my God, this is the problems which I can't deal with. So this one problems leads to another leads to another, and you know what is the surprising element? It is not happening in the actual world. It is just happening in your head. So it's just a thoughts bundles. But thoughts is the reality in some forms, because this is part of your own experience. If it's happening inside you, it becomes your reality. So first of all, if these fearful thoughts grips your mind, then one thoughts leads to another. It can grips the whole your awareness and everything, and you start panicking, and the fundamentals behind is you reach to a point through these thoughts and emotions that you found yourself helpless, and you feel like you cannot help yourself and nobody else can help in these situations, and this is where the panic attacks takes birth. And sooner or later these things becomes very hard for you to tackle with, and you somehow become into the grip of the panic attacks. So let's find out what a doctor's view is about the panic attack. This was my experiential journey with panic attacks. Sooner we will discuss how you can get rid of it.
Sure. So where I started from, when we started off this clip just now, I was talking about symptoms of panic attacks, right? So a lot of times, where as a layman, somebody would be going into a lot of stress and a lot of emotional turmoil, and suddenly they would also experience that they are having a lot of palpitations going on, and their blood pressure is shooting up at the same time, right? And at the same time they're sweating, and a lot of things are happening. And I've seen it so many times when it is happening to a female, where the menopause is about to happen, and that age is happening. They would relate it to something with menopausal symptoms. They would think about, oh, I think my blood pressure is off the charts and it is going up, and that is why I have it. They would know it somewhere in the back of the head, but the conscious mind, where to the outside world, it would always find excuses to not to see what is actually happening for real. And that is the issue with the society today, that we are not very open to express ourselves. And that is the whole point of having this conversation together today, that mental health has to come, has to be the priority, and it has to move forward. Because like he was sharing his story, that he's been through those symptoms, and but he had that background to it, how that he's going to share to you now, because I know the whole story, and that is why I've got him today with this setup, so that he can share his side of how do you get to know that you're having a panic attack actually, or it is something just as a symptomatic response to some diagnosis or a disease.
Okay, let's start with how it starts. So uh, normally you definitely have fear in your lives. So let's assume for sure that your life had been stressful. So you have some patterns where you are developing, stressful thoughts and emotions when you are perceiving the environment. The seed of all the panic attack is the fear, and the next stage is when this fear reach to the next level, then it starts creating sensations in the body. So when there is something happens in the environment and you feel like, oh, it would be very difficult to deal with, so all of a sudden the sensation starts happening in your body. This is the first signs when you become aware that anxiety has triggered in. So these symptoms varies from people to people. In my case, it is normally sensations in my hand and the leg, and definitely a palpitations in the stomach, it kind of a churning sensations. So then a tightness in my eyes. So I realize that there is something happen in the environment, and something is going on in my body. So I have definitely perceived a fear, and this fear gonna lead to the next fear and the another fear. So this is the first success, I would say, when you can catch it at this stage, that this is happening in your body at the emotional or sensational level. So if you are not aware about it, then you will lead to the next stage. So if you know that this is happening, this is where you can do something about it, and you may or may not lead to the panic attack. Most of the times you may not, because the next stage of the panic is fear of fear. So now you realize that there is something happens in the environment, then you realize something is happening in your body at the sensation level. So your mind goes, oh my god, this is gonna happen to the further level. So now the fear of fear has triggered in, and this is the root cause of creating the panic attack. You cannot solve a problems which hasn't happened yet. You are creating a problem through this process, and you're trying hard to solve it which hasn't happened yet. So here the solution is not there. Solution is before this stage, when the sensation is happening in your body. Not, you cannot solve a fear that it will happen and you will solve it then and there. So it's not happening, you are creating it step by step. So fear of fear is the root cause of the panic attacks. And panic attacks is a extreme sensations further to these sensations which I just described. And what happens there is you feel like you're having the shortness of breath, or might be your heartbeats rise. You feel like, oh, I may have the heart disease, or something is very serious happening in my body. I should go on some scans and find out what is happening. But what is the beauty of the panic attack? Nothing is happening in the body at the level of the medicals. Everything is happening in your mind as a thought. And thoughts cannot destroy you at that level. You have to go deeper and realize it from the bottom of your heart. Okay, nobody dies ever by the anxiety. Anxiety can create sensations in your body. It can makes you feel very bad, but it is not a medical disease, and you cannot die. You cannot find a case worldwide, even a single case you can prove that he died just because of anxiety. He must have had some medical issues in the body, then might have he triggered anxiety, and that old disease came into the pictures and something happens. But this is not possible, that panic attack, a thought can make you die. So if you understood this thought, that the panic attacks cannot let you die or make you kill, the moment you realize it, panic attacks, the half of the panic attacks power is gone then and there, because you are not sure about the panic attacks world. Now you are sure about it. So this is the first success You can read about it, you can find it on Google, you can talk to the expert. You will not find any data which can prove that panic attacks can create any disease in the body and makes you kill. Once you realize it, panic attack is half gone. Rest of the thing is we have to deal with the unpleasant sensations. There is a tools and techniques to deal that, but panic attacks cannot happen if you realize this.
Good. So what is basically addressing the fact is that don't get shit scared. Okay, it's all right to have panic attacks, and you've gone to that stage is fine, but there are always solutions to it. And keep in mind what he's trying to put light on again and again, that a panic attack is only going to create thought, but not create a thought, but then it's not going to affect you as a disease or anything. Also, what he's also mentioning is that there's a trigger response. So whenever there is a trigger, that's where the response of a panic attack is. So the sooner you get a hold of that trigger with your awareness, that's where the job of helping and coming out of it also starts. We're gonna talk about more in coming episodes, and until then, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
It was great. And if you need any help with your issues or symptoms or anything, you need to talk to somebody, and I'm always available. He's always available.
Yeah.
So we'll be happy to help. Thank you for now.
Thank you.
Good day. Cheers.